how are you? Hope you're having a great day. Today we're doing another ranking video, and today we're ranking blushes. This got really interesting and was actually really fun. I do want to preface this one by saying a lot of people were confused in my last video about why I didn't have like the Smoky Glow highlighter duo and my other highlighter palettes that you guys know I have. I'm gonna do face palettes as just a separate category, just because I don't think it's fair to compare face palettes to like singular products. So just know that's gonna be happening. So you will see all of my face palettes too, but this is just kind of singles. So I just want to make that clear. But yeah, I'm just ranking my blushes. If you're down for 20 minutes of just chill laxed content, stay tuned. I love you guys so much and I hope you enjoy. I don't know why I'm doing like finger guns. What? Okay, love you. Alright, so today we're ranking blushes, and I have a lot of pink sitting here. I love blushes. I used to never be into them and like wear them. When I first started my YouTube channel, I feel like I had 3 blushes because I never really liked them. But now I've really gotten into them, and I just adore a good blush. I think a blushed moment is gorgeous. So I have a bunch of these, and these are kind of all my girls. So we're gonna be ranking them today. I'm gonna kind of do it the same way that I did the last video, where I had like a lower category, a middle category, and a high category. So I think that just kind of makes everything easier. So without further ado, let's get started. So the first blush that I know is gonna go in the lower category is this KKW blush. Looks like this, really pretty pink color, and it's not bad, just don't really reach for it. Not like a show-stopping formula, not anything super special. So that definitely is lower. I would also say my Fenty cream blushes are pretty low. These, first of all, I do have a gripe with how small they are. I know some people are like, oh, you'll never finish a full. I like bigger products. Like, I don't know what else to say. Personal preference. If this is fine for you, that's fine. I think there's very little product considering what you're getting, even though it does take a minute to get through. I will say I've used this a few times. I don't like it. I think it's a very somewhat sheer formula, which I think a lot of people disagree with, but you can kind of see I put it on and then I have cat scratches all over me, sorry. I don't have a cat, but my friends do. You put it on and it just kind of blends into nothing, and I just find that to be kind of annoying. So these just didn't really work for me, so they're gonna be probably lower as well. I have 2 shades, Crush on Cupid and Petal Poppin'. I would also say in the lower range, I do have 3 of these. This is the Color Pop from their brand new collection. This is an On the Horizon. I have 3 of these because I was recently sent them in PR, but these will probably get decluttered soonish. I'm not a big fan. I love ColourPop's blush formula when it's a matte blush, but these matte blushes with shimmer in them, it's not even shimmer, these matte blushes with glitter in them, I'm just not a big fan of. I just think they're not my favorite. I just don't like having little tiny specks of glitter all over my face. I feel like with a blush, it either needs to be a matte blush or it needs to be a shimmery, like glittery blush. This in-between formula, really dislike. So I do have 3 of these, but this is kind of the representative because I didn't want to haul all 3 of them out. So I do have these. I'm gonna go ahead and also put this ColourPop blush stick. This is in the shade Hen Party. And this is, again, not bad, but I will say for a cream blush formula, it is a little bit stiffer. With cream blushes, I do prefer ones that are just a little bit more liquidy and easy to blend out. I think that's more just for ease of use. Like, I'm holding up this one because this is a really good example, is the CoverGirl cream blushes. I think just for ease of use, it's nice to have a cream blush that just kind of glides on and is very easy to blend out. Whereas this I feel is a little bit harder to blend out, but once you do, the color payoff is really pretty. So it's not a bad blush, but it's definitely not the easiest to use, I would say. I also think I'm gonna throw this in the bottom, but this will probably be top of the bottom. This is the Clarins blush in Cheeky Baby. I adore the tone of this blush. You can see it's got some visible use on it. I've had this for a little while, and I just think it's such a fun, cute pink color. But if I'm thinking my like favorite blushes, I do feel like this falls a little bit lower. So I'm gonna put that in the lower section too, along with this blush from Jordana Tiscia. It's in the shade Prom Queen, and this is not because this blush is bad, it's just new. So I haven't had a real chance to really try it yet. I've only used it once, so I can't give like a formal opinion on it yet, but the one time I did use it, I really liked it. It's got a nice little sheen to it that I really appreciate. So this had to go lower just because I haven't used it much. So let's move these things to the side. Okay, so as far as worst blush, it probably will have to be these ColourPop ones just because I literally despise the formula like a lot. So I'm gonna put that there. And then next would probably be this Jordana one just because, again, have not tried it, don't really have an opinion on it yet. Next I would put the Fenty blush in Crush on Cupid. This is the one I've used the least. It's this sort of hot pink color, and it sucks because I love the color, but I just don't like the formula that much. I don't think it's that good. So that goes there. And then next would probably be the ColourPop blush sticks here. And then I would say the KKW one in Flower Wall. And then the Fenty cream one in Petal Poppin'. The color of this definitely saves it, but the amount that I have to put on to get any to show up, not great. And then the Clarins blush would probably be top of the least ones that I like. I think the Clarins has to be the top because this would probably be in the middle tier if I didn't like any other blush, but really all of the other ones I think I just like a little bit more. But there's nothing wrong with this formula. It's actually a really good one. So that is the bottom tier. Okay, so we need 11 to be in the middle tier so we can do a top 10. Okay, right off the bat, mid tier is definitely going to be this Kat Von D blush. Sorry, Kendo Vegan Designer Beauty Designer Vegan Kindness with Love. This is in the shade Peony. It's a fantastic blush. Honestly, 10 out of 10. This formula, beautiful. When I found out that Kat Von D was no longer going to be associated with the KVD Beauty, I did decide to start supporting the brand again if they came out with things that I was interested in. This was one thing I was very interested in. And I have to say, blushes are stunning. But I will say, out of all of the other blushes I have, this definitely falls in the middle. Definitely top middle, but middle. I don't think this would make the top 10 quite yet. So that one is there. And then I would say both of my Kylie blushes kind of fall in that mid section. I have the shade Rosy, which is this sort of really a little bit deeper of a pink for me. And then I also have this shade Pink Power, which is this really gorgeous like light pink color. I really just genuinely like these blushes. Nothing really wrong with them. I think they're good, but I will say out of all the Kylie face products, when it comes to the highlighters, the bronzers, the blushes, I think the blushes are my least favorite things. They're my like least impressive from the whole Kylie collection. I will say these are really reasonably priced, which I appreciate, but I definitely use the shade Pink Power a lot more just because the little bit more light pinky ones have been my faves, but they're both decent blushes, good formula. Yeah, you know. I will say the lasting power on these, not fantastic. It's not the best, but it's not like bad. This is not something you're gonna put on and make it last all day, in my opinion. Next in the middle, I have this blush from Dior. This is in the shade Rosy Glow, and this is from the Dior Backstage collection. This is a fun color. I love this color. Whenever I wear this color blush in videos, I always get a bunch of comments on it because it's just kind of a unique, different color for me, especially because I'm not the most adventurous with blushes. So this one makes me excited when I wear it. However, I've talked about it before. I'm not the biggest fan of the packaging. I know it's petty, but I feel like for how expensive it was, you want better packaging. And the other thing about it too is it's just not one I reach for a ton because it is a little bit more of a unique color. And the formula, I would say the formula is pretty good. It's not too pigmented, but it's not like no pigment, so I am a fan of this one. Next. I think it's this one. Yes, so this is the Cover FX blush in Sweet Mulberry, and the Cover FX blushes are my favorite blush formula, and this is the shade Sweet Mulberry. The only reason this one's gonna fall a little bit lower is because it is a little bit of a deeper shade, so I don't use it too often, only when I'm trying to kind of if I'm doing like a monochromatic purple or something like that. The one thing I will say that I don't like about these blush duos in general across the board, I don't like that they're duos. I never really use the sparkly side. I just don't really like the sparkly side. I would much prefer if this was just a big pan of blush. Like I would be totally down for that. If they made blush singles, I would be all about it because I don't love the fact that this has this sparkly side because I just never use it. I get for some people who like to do the sparkly blush thing, it makes sense. I'm a big kind of matte or luminous blush person. So for me, don't really utilize those sides, but this shade in particular would probably fall lower simply because of usage. I am gonna put both of my Kaleidos Duo blushers. These are probably gonna rank pretty high in the mid tier because I'm loving these. The thing I like about these is that this blush is actually a luminous blush, whereas when I just talked about the Cover FX duos, this is definitely more of almost like a highlighter, whereas this is just a true luminous blush. It reminds me of the Milani blushes that I love so much. So I actually appreciate these as a a duo because I don't use them together or anything. I just use them as either a luminous blush or a matte blush, but I think these are both really beautiful. Packaging's 10 out of 10. I love Kaleidos as a brand, but definitely not like top 10 favorite formulas of all time. This blush one's kind of hard because I just love all my blushes. Next, I'm gonna go ahead and say the Patrick Ta blush duo in Do We Know Her. This has a cream blush and a powder blush. I like this. I do like this. It's not my favorite. The cream blush is not my favorite. I love this blush. I would recommend, if it were me, just because I am a little bit pickier about cream blushes because I like them to be easy to work with. For me, I would recommend getting just the blush, not the duo, unless you really love a little bit more of a stiffer cream formula, because I do feel like that's what this is. It feels a little bit stiffer. It's a little bit harder to work with. And for me, I just like ease of use. It's a personal preference. But for that reason, I think this would fall lower. But I do like this because I like that they're a little bit more bright. I like that they're a little bit more orangey toned. I think that's very cute. And obviously the packaging is very aesthetically pleasing. I think I'm going to put these two blushes from ColourPop lower as well. These are in the shades Catch My Vibe and Coast to Coast. And I believe these came with the Mauve collection. I love these. This is a great example of ColourPop blushes that are just matte, that are just so good. When they do just their matte formula, genuinely great. I actually think I might keep this one for the top 10. I love this blush in particular. This one, I use it, but it's just a little bit more mauve-y, whereas like the pink I'm all about. So I think this is actually gonna go lower and this is gonna stay. Okay, next I think I am gonna put this more towards the top of the mid-tier, but I think this will definitely be mid-tier. The Clean and Fresh Cream Blush from CoverGirl. I really love this shade in particular, Sweet Innocence. They had a bunch of other shades that came out with this line. This is the one that was absolutely my favorite from all of them. I think it's just a really easy to blend, really good to use, really pretty blush, and I adore it as a cream blush. This is probably one of my favorite cream blushes. Finally, oh, this is tough. I think I'm gonna have to put my Milani blush in Bella Bellini. And it's not because it's not stunning. I mean, look at it, like it's stunning. But I will say, I think this is out of my Milani blushes, because I have Luminoso as well. This is definitely my least used. I think I just prefer Luminoso, so that's why it's lower, but I don't think this is a bad blush. This is also a little bit more extra than Luminoso. I think Luminoso is kind of the perfect mix of, you know, like a shimmery, kind of glowy blush to actually just a regular blush, whereas this is like you're putting this on, you don't need highlighter. All right, let's rank them. This feels right for a top 10, I would say. So I do think the Patrick Ta one is probably going to be on the lower end for me, just because half of it I don't use. And then I think I'm gonna put this Cover FX blush. Again, I really like the shade, half of it don't really use too much, but this is at least a usable formula, just not my favorite. So I'm gonna put that here, and then I'm gonna do, I guess we'll do this ColourPop one, really just because of the color. I like the matte blush formula a lot, but this color doesn't get a ton of use. And then we're gonna do the Kylie one. Actually, Kylie's gonna go here, the rosy shade in Kylie. I just don't use this one very often. So she's gonna, I should. It's a good color, but I don't. So as of right now, she's here. Then the ColourPop one. Then the other Kylie one. I think that goes here. And then I think we would have this one, Bella Bellini, here. And then I think we would have the Lo-Fi Rose, my least. Out of the two, this is not my favorite. I do like it, but not my fave. And then I think we'd have the cream blush. And then these three, it gets kind of difficult. This peach blush, especially this peach matte blush, is so good. I really adore it. I think I'm gonna do Dior Kat Von D Kaleidos. I'm debating if I should switch these two. Oh, this is so hard. I'm gonna switch these two. I'm gonna put the KVD here and then put Kaleidos, but it's very close between these two because I genuinely really enjoy both of them a lot. Yeah, so this would be my mid-tier ranking. We have Patrick Ta, Cover FX Kylie, ColourPop, Kylie again. I think this seems right. This feels okay. I might move this lower in my brain later when I'm editing. I'll let you know. This is where it gets difficult, because this is truly, when I say top 10, like this is all very close to me, because these are definitely my most used favorite blushes. I'm gonna have to start off right off the bat by saying I think this one falls the lowest. Even though I do love this one, this was almost in the mid-tier for a reason, but it's still, oh, such a good blush. So I'm gonna put this here, and then I'm gonna put, I think I'm gonna put the Milani Luminoso, this one. I'm almost panned this one. It used to have a dome, does not any longer. color, have a dome. So this one I've had this for years though. Like I've had this for a very long time. To its credit, it's stayed pretty consistent as a blush. I don't think the formula has really changed up too much on me. So I am gonna put this here, but I think it's just because I don't wear it as much as I used to, but it's still definitely like tried and true favorite. And then I think I'm gonna put my MAC blush in Mocha. This one's actually a little bit newer. I got it during Black Friday, I believe, last year. And I really like this one. I love the MAC formula. This is one of my favorite blushes of all time is MAC Peaches. And I don't think this color has fully compared, but I do love the formula of the MAC blushes. I think they're truly very amazing. And this is a nice for when I want something a little bit more neutiral. So that's probably gonna go there. So these are my two Cover FX blushes, the blush duos. And I use them both a lot. I would have to say which one I use more. It's this one. I much prefer peachy tones. So I think just to be fair, I'm gonna put this one a little bit lower. This is in a mauve color. This is mauve. You know I can't pronounce this one. This is in the mauve. I'm gonna put it here, and then I'm gonna put, it's between these two for who's gonna make it into the top 5. I think I'm gonna put Ofra. This is Ofra's Blush Bellini. This is a great blush. It's so good. It's that beautiful kind of orangey peachy color that you can very obviously see I love. I adore this blush formula. I think Ofra's blush formula is so good. I wish it wasn't in this stupidly bulky packaging. However, the blush itself is beautiful. So this is like a great one, and know that it's very close to Clinique Cheek Pop, like very close. But sadly it did not make the top 5. For my top 5, Clinique Cheek Pop. This is in Melon Pop, right? Yes, Melon Pop. This is fantastic. I found these blushes I think it was over a year ago at this point. I found these blushes because one of you guys recommended it, and do not regret for a second. I absolutely love these blushes. I think they're so cute. They have the perfect amount of pigment to them, the perfect amount of between like a matte and a sheeny blush. I just really adore these. Packaging super small, super cute. This is always a blush I travel with because I think it's just a great color for every day, and it's also super easy to travel with. Next, this is gonna be so hard. These 4 are truly like, I don't even know where to begin. I think I am gonna put MAC Peaches at 4th, which is very difficult for me to say because for a very long time, this has been my favorite blush, probably one of my favorite blushes. If it's just the perfect color, it's such a good color, it's such a good formula. The lasting power is incredible. Like I truly just love everything about this blush. And it's very difficult for me to admit that anything tops it because this has always been my go-to fave. But I'd be lying if I said these 3 haven't kind of stolen me a little bit. I do think next would be Cover FX. Yes, Cover FX. And that is this shade I already showed you. This would definitely be number 3. Again, I really think if this was, it was just the matte side, this would be number 1. But as a product as a whole, I can't put it at number 3 just because I really don't use the shimmery side very often. This is like the only side that I use. So I'm gonna put that there. And then we have these 2. This is very hard for me. I love both of these. This is the Hourglass blush in Mood Exposure, and it's just a perfect purpley pink shade. It's not too cool and it's not too warm. Really the shade that I love, the shade that I picked on these. I think it was a really good call. And then we also have this Patrick Ta blush in She's Passionate, and this is legitimately such a good formula. I think I have to, okay, this has to go second. Because it is great, but it's not like, they're very expensive. And if I'm being completely honest with myself, the reason I don't have more of these is because they're so expensive. It just is a lot to pay, basically. But they are beautiful and stunning, and I adore them. But I think this would have to be my favorite blush, especially if I'm thinking in the last 6 months, what I have reached for the most in my collection on a day-to-day basis. It's the Patrick Ta blush. I just love everything about this. I think it's so pretty. I mean, you guys know, like MAC Peaches is one of my favorites. It barely looks used because blushes do take, especially powder blushes, take so long to get through. However, I've only had this for, I think 8 months. I got it for Christmas. So I've only had it for 8 months, and it's already the little emblems going away because I genuinely use this all the time. This is always the blush that I want to reach for. The coloring is perfect for me. The formula is beautiful. It goes on so nicely. This is one of my favorite products that I got in the last year. Absolutely, hands down. Such a good product. And I would have to say that if I'm going off of what I use the most, what I love the most day to day, Patrick Ta. Boom! That was so hard. That was harder than highlighters, honestly. Truly, because once we got to the top 4, I wear these all interchangeably so much that it got really difficult. All right, well, that's gonna be it for me. I'm not gonna do my outro on camera because, again, look bad, but check out my description box for everything. Love you guys. Like and subscribe if you would like to, or if you don't, I'm really glad you watched this video. Thank you for watching. I love you guys, and I will see you in the next one. Bye!